In the upcoming revelation, Billy Carson is set to uncover the ancient secret of our existence, a mystery humanity has grappled with for millennia. Brace yourself for a revelation that promises to not only astonish but also revolutionize our understanding. Let's embark on this journey together.
We're living in a multi-dimensional universe, and there's at least 11 dimensions, otherwise the universe would collapse. Each dimension is a 90-degree angle right above the next one, compactified, so they're sitting right on top of us. So within less than a Planck unit of space above you, there's another dimension that actually exists with a whole nother universe happening simultaneously while we're sitting right here. And from higher dimensions, they experience time differently. Time really doesn't exist. The past, present, and the future happen all at once. So somebody, for example, from the fifth dimension would look at us and they'd be able to see us. Imagine us in this building here, but imagine when I first walked in, and imagine us in here, and imagine me like in the bathroom or something. They'd be able to see us in all the different rooms. The different rooms would represent different time frames of existence within this structure. So they can see the past, present, and future at the same time.
So is the idea that when you're in a higher dimension, you can see below lower dimensions, but you can't see dimensions above you?
Exactly, unless you have the capability of matching. First, you have to obtain the frequency of a higher dimension and then match that frequency to be able to walk in. So for example, my hand is stopped now by this table. Why is it stopped? I'm not really touching the table. There's repulsion going on. Electromagnetic repulsion between the electrons in my hand is repelling the electrons in the table. You don't really touch anything. Now, if I can match the subatomic frequency of the atoms in this chunk of wood here on this table with my hand, I would be able to pass my hand right through this table unscathed. Why? Because atoms are 99.999% empty space. Nothing is really here. Everything is only a light wave slowed down to a particular frequency. And so if you can match frequencies, you can merge with things. You can walk through walls and all that kind of stuff. The things that seem paranormal could be advanced beings have tapped into some type of understanding of how to match different frequencies in our dimension and appear apparitional or paranormal. But in true reality, they could just be taking a peek in.
And how did we come to the understanding that these higher dimensions exist? Like, what is the most basic evidence that we have of this?
Quantum physics proves it. See, when we look into the quantum world, everything changed. In standard physics is where we are right now, in the large side of physics. But the smaller you go, the more weird things get. We find that particles transphase in and out of existence, and they go to different dimensions. We even know now that some of our synapses of our thoughts in our brain phase out of this dimension and they go somewhere else, and then they come back again. And this has all been tracked and traced through the understanding of quantum mechanics and quantum physics and understanding that dimensions exist. The biggest way that we made a model of this is we figured out how to create something called quasi-crystals. Now, these quasi-crystals are these multi-dimensional crystals. We actually created an 8th dimensional quasi-crystal. We created in a laboratory using different technologies. And then from that 8th dimensional quasi-crystal, it casts a shadow of itself down to a 4th dimensional quasi-crystal, which then casts down a shadow which creates a sphere. So we know that the universe is most likely the shadow of a higher dimension. We're living in a light matrix, which is actually a light matrix, which is a shadow of a much higher dimension. And so we know this because they created these crystals, these quasi-crystals, and when they put them at different angles, they cast shadows. Sometimes
what do these crystals look like?
They look like, have you ever seen Adinkra codes?
I think I've heard you talk about this before. No,
they look like Adinkra symbols, mathematical symbols, but in the third dimensional time space. And so if you take them and pull them out into a third dimensional time space, they look like these lines that are connected with these nodes like that.
This is a quasi-crystal.
Yeah, it's an ordered structure, but it's not periodic. If you put 8th dimensional quasi-crystal, it's a fractal. It's all about fractal. We live in a fractal holographic universe. The quasi-crystal is a fundamental basis of the fractal holography that we're living in. We're fully immersed in it, so we can't detect it, but we're living in a light matrix. And that's what the Adinkra codes also prove. Professor James Gates Jr., University of Maryland, former scientific advisor to President Obama, he put together a team of the most incredible supersymmetry and theoretical physicists in the world, like the top brains in the world on this. And they started analyzing what is the ether of space-time. What is this soup that we're living in, that we're inhabiting, this universe? What is it? What is it made of? What's powering it? they discovered something called Adinkra codes, which go back to the ancient Dogon tribe from Mali, Africa. The original inhabitants of the land of Kem then moved to Mali later after they were thrown out, taken over at one point. But they still kept this ancient knowledge in Mali about these Adinkra codes, and they would draw these patterns. Well, he discovered that these patterns are actually mathematical codes. And these are not just any mathematical code. They're actually the codes that describe the ether of space-time itself. They're error-correcting codes, the same exact codes that run our search engines and web browsers that we're using right now to look at the image. There's coding behind that screen that runs this, what we just did, and guess what? It's the same code that runs the universe. So we discovered that we're living in a programmed light matrix. These are depicting the nature of reality, and they actually are mathematical programming codes. They're a special type of code though. They're error correcting codes. The same type that Google browser is running on is the same thing that runs the universe.
What does this tell us, and where do we take this? Like, what is the, obviously this is like foundational knowledge for us, but like, where do you see it going?
Well, if you understand that we're living in a fractal holographic light matrix, it doesn't mean we're not real, but it tells us, wow, this is the method of the creation. Now we're getting closer to understanding what we really are. We understand now that consciousness isn't made inside this avatar body, that the avatar body doesn't even exist, that consciousness is a stream of something, coming from somewhere else, and is being picked up in this matrix with this coding. If you took all the humans on Earth, there's 8 billion humans on Earth. If I took all 8 billion humans and removed the empty space between their atoms, I can fit every human into a sugar cube. One sugar cube can hold all 8 billion of us. You can see atoms are empty space. If you take the empty space out, you collapse it into one sugar cube. All 8 billion can fit in one sugar cube. So what does that mean?
Wild.
What's here? There's only one consciousness, it seems. And it's like a radio station that's transmitting out a frequency from a higher dimension. Our avatar bodies pick up that frequency. You're 99.1, I'm 99.2, he's 99.3, but it's still coming from the same source. And so we're all coming from the same source. It's like the universe has found a way to live subjectively through multiple entities, but not even through entities, even through objects that we consider to be man-made, because every atom we know now in quantum physics is also conscious.
Picture yourself immersed in a narrative. Yet instead of being confined to the pages of a tangible book, it exists beyond the realms of sight and touch. Much akin to Billy Carson's notion of a multi-dimensional universe, where conventional notions of space and time expand. While our daily experiences are bound by the familiar dimensions of forward-backward, left-right, and up-down. What if I proposed the existence of unseen dimensions beyond our perception? This concept stems from the realm of physics known as string theory. Consider it analogous to a guitar string vibrating to produce sound. In this theory, the fabric of our universe is woven from minuscule vibrating strings, composing everything from celestial bodies to organic life. However, to reconcile this theory, scientists posit the necessity of additional dimensions beyond the conventional 3. Remarkably, the math aligns seamlessly with the inclusion of 11 dimensions. Although these extra dimensions elude our senses, they might intricately intertwine with our reality, akin to hidden layers within a narrative, awaiting discovery. This paradigm shift challenges our understanding, unveiling a concealed cosmos teeming with mysteries and marvels beyond our current comprehension. Let's delve into the interconnectedness of dimensions. Carson introduces the concept of dimensions being perpendicular to one another. In a two-dimensional world, like a sheet of paper, we have length and width. Add depth, and we enter the three-dimensional realm of our existence. But what about a fourth dimension? How does it fit into the equation? Contemplating a dimension beyond our familiar 3 is challenging since it's beyond our direct perception. However, let's engage our imagination. Envision time as a potential fourth dimension. Just as we traverse space, we journey through time, experiencing each moment sequentially. Carson also introduces the idea of dimensions being compactified, meaning they're intricately folded, too small for direct observation. Think of a thin wire. From afar, it appears one-dimensional, but upon closer inspection, it reveals length, thickness, and even a hint of width. Similarly, the additional dimensions in string theory are minuscule, imperceptible in our daily lives. These concealed dimensions might envelop us, harboring unimaginable phenomena, Imagine residing in a two-dimensional world and discovering the existence of a three-dimensional reality surrounding you. This notion unveils a multitude of potential realities coexisting alongside ours, just beyond our perceptual reach. Think of time not as a river, but as an ocean, where past, present, and future coexist. Billy Carson delves into this intriguing notion, proposing that in higher dimensions, time operates differently from our conventional understanding. While in our three-dimensional world, time progresses linearly, in higher dimensions, it could be perceived in a more expansive manner. Imagine observing a parade. From street level, you witness floats passing by sequentially, but from a towering building, you can grasp the entirety of the procession at once. Carson illustrates how beings from a fifth dimension might perceive our reality, akin to reading a book where every page is visible simultaneously. To them, our existence could span across multiple temporal points, past, present, and future, concurrently. This concept challenges the conventional linear perception of time, envisioning a universe where time transcends simplicity, embracing complexity and multidimensionality beyond our everyday comprehension. Have you ever wondered how different dimensions interact with each other? Carson proposes an intriguing analogy. To engage with a higher dimension, one must attune to its frequency, akin to tuning into a radio station. Just as adjusting to the right frequency enables us to hear a specific radio channel, entities in one dimension must synchronize with another dimension's frequency to engage with it. In our familiar three-dimensional world, grasping this concept proves challenging since everything we perceive is confined to these dimensions. However, what if we could bridge into these alternate realms? Carson speculates that paranormal phenomena might be elucidated by entities adept at frequency matching, essentially aligning with different dimensional frequencies. Consider atoms, the building blocks of matter, predominantly comprising empty space. If we could align our atom's frequency with those of a wall, theoretically, we could traverse through it. Although reminiscent of superhero narratives, within the realm of physics, this notion is not entirely implausible. It implies that objects we perceive as solid and immovable might possess unexpected flexibility and permeability beyond our conventional understanding. Quantum physics offers a glimpse into the intricate workings of the universe at a minuscule scale, far beyond what the naked eye can perceive. In Carson's exposition, this microscopic realm unveils the presence of higher dimensions. Within quantum physics, particles exhibit extraordinary behavior. They defy conventional logic by occupying multiple locations simultaneously and spontaneously materializing into existence. Picture these particles as messengers traversing through dimensions. When observed by quantum physicists, these particles occasionally exhibit perplexing behaviors, diverging from the norms of our familiar three-dimensional realm. This anomaly suggests potential influences from forces or laws originating in higher dimensions. Analogous to a puppeteer manipulating strings from above, these higher dimensions could be steering the behavior of particles within our observable universe. This notion challenges the very fabric of our understanding of reality, portraying the universe as a colossal puzzle. Quantum physics, in its revelations, unveils fragments from previously uncharted territories of this puzzle, offering glimpses into realms we had not fathomed. It's akin to peering into a clandestine domain, unlocking gateways to worlds governed by entirely different principles. The human brain, a marvel in itself, could harbor untapped abilities beyond our comprehension. Carson posits that the synapses in our brain, those minuscule gaps facilitating signal transmission between neurons, might serve as gateways to higher dimensions. Picture your brain as a radio, not just receiving signals from our reality but also tuning into frequencies from alternate dimensions. While this notion may seem like something out of science fiction, in the realm of quantum mechanics, it's a hypothesis gaining traction among researchers. There's compelling evidence suggesting that these synapses play a role in phenomena that defy classical physics, such as quantum entanglement, where particles remain interconnected, impacting each other's states regardless of distance. Carson's proposition proposes that our thoughts could intermittently traverse these higher dimensions. It's akin to when your mind drifts off into a daydream, wandering into a different mental space. What if, during such moments, our consciousness is engaging with another dimension? This hypothesis could elucidate instances of profound inspiration or creativity, suggesting that we might be accessing a vast reservoir of knowledge and experiences existing beyond our physical reality. Picture this. What if our universe were merely a shadow, a simplistic projection of a far more intricate reality existing in higher dimensions? Carson likens this notion to studying the shadow of a tree and pondering the complexity of the tree itself. Our universe, in this analogy, is the shadow, while the higher dimensions represent the towering tree. Enter the concept of a light matrix, a vast, incomprehensible network of light extending beyond our perceptual reach. This light matrix embodies the higher dimensions, with our universe serving as a mere projection or shadow of this profound structure. It's akin to living in a 3D movie cast from a realm of boundless complexity and dimensions. This perspective revolutionizes our grasp of reality. Rather than regarding our universe as the be-all and end-all of existence, we begin to perceive it as merely one layer or facet of a grander, more intricate whole. It suggests that what we perceive as reality may be just a fraction of an expansive, multidimensional cosmos. Quasi-crystals serve as an intriguing illustration of this concept. Unlike regular crystals, these structures possess remarkable orderliness without repeating themselves precisely, akin to intricate mosaic patterns. Scientists have synthesized quasi-crystals in laboratories, which represent projections of patterns existing in higher dimensions. When Carson discusses an eighth-dimensional quasi-crystal casting a shadow onto a lower dimension, he's highlighting how these intricate formations offer insights into higher dimensions, reminiscent of three-dimensional objects casting two-dimensional shadows. By scrutinizing these shadows, quasi-crystals, we gain a foothold in comprehending the shapes and patterns of dimensions beyond our direct perception. This breakthrough enables us to indirectly explore and study higher dimensions, akin to decoding a clandestine message that unveils more about the universe and our position within it. These quasi-crystals transcend mere physical structures. They function as portals into the deeper dimensions of the cosmos, revealing a reality far more intricate and interconnected than our everyday experiences suggest. In a realm where the cosmos every dance, from the grandeur of galaxies to the minuscule ballet of atoms, follows a clandestine script, Adinkra codes take center stage. Carson delves into these enigmatic symbols, likening them to the universe's own coding language, a web of intricate mathematical expressions defining the very essence of spacetime. Originating from ancient African symbolism, their modern interpretation in physics hints at something profound. Adinkra codes emerge as more than mere abstract notions. They are envisioned as the actual blueprint of existence. Much like error-correcting codes in computer algorithms safeguard against data loss or corruption, these cosmic codes might ensure the seamless operation of nature's fundamental processes. Imagine the universe as a colossal computer, with Adinkra codes serving as its software, ensuring flawless functionality. This perspective transforms our perception of spacetime from a passive backdrop to an active participant, governed by a meticulous set of mathematical rules. It implies that the fabric of reality we perceive is woven with a complex, underlying structure that we are just beginning to unravel. Today, let's delve into Carson's captivating insights, particularly focusing on the enigmatic realm of consciousness. Often, we conceive of our minds as products of our brains, confined within the confines of our physical vessels. But what if consciousness operates akin to a broadcast, with our brains acting as receivers rather than generators? This perspective challenges the notion of internal generation, proposing instead that consciousness is an external force we access. This radical notion suggests that our identities, thoughts, and awareness may originate from realms beyond our corporeal forms, perhaps even transcending dimensions. Picture the brain as a radio, attuned to frequencies from a vast expanse of consciousness beyond our tangible reality. Carson ventures further, proposing that all beings, and conceivably all life forms, are intertwined with this singular source of consciousness. It's akin to envisioning every radio, irrespective of its location or design, capable of tuning into the same frequency. Such a connection could elucidate phenomena like profound empathy, intuition, or even psychic occurrences, instances where individuals seem to tap into this collective consciousness more directly. Consider the notion that what we perceive as solid and tangible may be more illusion than actual substance. Carson presents a thought-provoking concept. Atoms, the building blocks of our reality, are primarily composed of empty space, up to 99.999%. If we were to eliminate this emptiness from every human on Earth, the entire population could fit into the volume of a sugar cube. This revelation challenges our conventional understanding of physical existence. It suggests that the solidity we perceive in objects, structures, and even ourselves is largely illusory, akin to realizing that a seemingly solid sculpture is actually composed of thin air, molded into form by unseen forces. Furthermore, Carson suggests that this illusion of material reality is intricately linked to a singular, universal consciousness. Just as every radio can be tuned to the same station, he posits that every individual, every living entity, may be attuned to a shared frequency of consciousness. This notion paints a portrait of unity and interconnectedness that surpasses physical boundaries, implying that at the deepest level, we are all integral components of a vast, interwoven whole. In conclusion, Carson's exploration of the illusion of physical existence and the concept of universal consciousness challenges our perceptions of reality and individuality. By revealing the vast emptiness within the very fabric of matter and proposing a connection to a collective consciousness, he prompts us to reconsider the nature of existence and our place within it. This perspective offers a profound understanding of unity and interconnectedness, suggesting that beneath the surface of diversity lies a fundamental oneness that binds us all together. Embracing this idea could lead to a deeper appreciation of our interconnected world and inspire a shift towards more harmonious and empathetic ways of living.